Hey guys, welcome to Pro Football Tailgater. I'm Chris Rowe, and these are my eating machines. Alright, so these are the running backs that I feel are going to be like money this year. And when I mean money, we're talking about 20 plus carries or touches, passes. These are the guys who are just going to eat in their offenses. Now, I do understand there will be notable players on here that I did not mention, and that is because I am just lower on them this year. I really feel like if you grab any of these guys that I'm going to show you right now, these guys are going to be the ones that are going to show up, put up consistent points every week. I'm not just talking about blow up weeks every once in a while. I'm talking about consistency. These guys are going to eat in their offenses this year in 2026. All right. So the first one I'm going to talk about here in my list is Bijan Robinson. The guy is pure talent. He can make a play happen any moment, and he's looking to make a play. He's looking to get those yardage, whether it's a pass or a downhill run or a pitch to the outside. The dude is just like mega talented. There's no way that you could possibly not take him as the overall number one. I understand, and we'll talk about Jahmyr Gibbs next. Preview. Nothing has changed for this guy. Okay, I understand that there's Kevin Stefanski has moved in there, and his offensive coordinator is Reese. They are looking at a run-heavy 12 and 13 personnel scheme to run creative plays. They're going to base their whole offense around Bijan, whether it's Penix or Tua. It doesn't really matter. They're basically the same player profile to me. Maybe Penix runs a little bit more, but not really. They're both kind of pocket passers. They do unleash it down the field when they can, and that's going to be essential to make sure that the long field stretching plays creates more running lane for Bijan, because you're talking about a guy who averages 4 to 6 yards a carry, or if you pitch it, you throw it to him, he'll grab 4 or 5 yards. He makes a play no matter what. So I'm not too worried about the workload of Bijan at all. I don't think it's coming down at all. Bijan Robinson, although he's a great player from Washington, is where he started, ended up in San Francisco, he's not going to get the ball any more than Tyler Algier. And in fact, I don't think he's going to be like the goal line back like Tyler Algier was used. I think Bijan's probably going to get more goal line work. I think Brian is just literally a true backup that they're hoping that, I don't know, let's just say something happened to Bijan, that Brian would be able to handle that workload. That's either way, there's no concern over Bijan's workload. I don't think I need to beat the drum too hard on Bijan. You could pick him number one, or you could pick Gibbs number one. I think a lot of this is interchangeable between the two. They're both profiled as highly talented backs, so it doesn't really matter. But speaking of, we're going to go ahead and go on to Jahmyr Gibbs as my number 2 player. Montgomery's gone. Everybody's been talking about it. Everybody on all the platforms in this space. Montgomery's gone. Jahmyr's going to just eat, right? Which is probably true. However, I understand that he's young, and he's still got a lot of tread on the tires. But I don't think it's going to be 100% true. We're going to get some blow-up games, and he's going to get tired. So I think you're going to see Isaiah Pacheco a little bit more, although Dan Campbell did just recently say, hey, this is our bell cow. We are going to lean on him. They do have the easiest schedule across, all the games. So between being in a dome all the time, between being the bell cow and only having Pacheco there, and Pacheco's probably going to be annoying. I think that they're going to throw him in the spaces that you're not aware of, that he's going to get thrown in. But it really depends on whoever whatever the OC believes he can use. It could be that Jahmyr Gibbs does end up being the true bell cow and we don't see Pacheco at all. But I don't think so. I don't think they picked up Pacheco thinking that he was going to be useless. I think they're like, hey, Pacheco's over his injuries. He's going to be our kind of David Montgomery replacement. And it might work, because they're both similar profiles. They're small, they're bruisers. They can go in between the tackles. It doesn't really matter. But it's not going to be quite Sonic and Knuckles, but maybe they will use him to manage Jahmyr Gibbs' workload. Anyways, Jahmyr Gibbs, number 2 player. I think you if you were to catch him in the first round, it's not going to break your fantasy league whatsoever, or your team, I should say. Moving on to my next one, Chase Brown. Dude, when his quarterback is on the field and they're able to stretch the field, Chase Brown is able to capitalize on his opportunities. It's just true. He profiles my number 3 because the guy's going to catch a lot of passes. He is going to be also, he's a 3-down back for sure, and a 4th down and a 2-minute drill back. They don't have anything behind him as far as players. He's undisputed on that team. Joe Burrow is excited. They talked about he compared his current team to his days in Louisiana. He's like, watch it. We're going to go all the way with this team because that's where I won my championship at. He's saying that he thinks all the pieces are there. And the only reason why he would say that is because every single piece is jiving and working. And I think that's a change of pace. Usually there's something about the Bengals that they're late to the party every single year. They didn't work out together. They didn't have training camp together. All their players were either separated or holding out for a contract or something like that. And I don't think that's what it is this year. I think they're all together. They're all jiving. Chase Brown is clear cut. They're back. They are going to get to the party on time this year. They're going to show what they're good about, what's good about them. And Chase Brown, he is going to be one of the beneficiaries. He's going to ball. I don't care what you say. So if you're picking him up in the first round, you're okay. You're going to do okay. My next back is Omarion Hampton. Now, a lot of people were talking about Omarion Hampton being the blow-up back last year, and pretty much he blew up his ankle is what happened. Well, it was a high ankle sprain or whatever it was. He was out for an extended period of time. I was one of those guys that was bought into him all last year. I had a lot of Omarion Hampton on my teams. Love Omarion Hampton. I think that it possibly could be his blow-up year, and everybody else thinks that too. Why wouldn't you? Mike McDaniel, you know what he did with Achane. Achane, smaller guy, probably, super talented and quick, maybe quicker than Omarion Hampton, but I don't know. Omarion Hampton's got a lot of gifts that he can just throw out there. I think that if you're getting Omarion Hampton as your number 1 back, you're going to be fine. You're going to lean on Mike McDaniel's scheme. You're going to look at a O-line that's not going to fall apart, because that's part of what Mike McDaniel teaches. The O-line knows their places, knows where to go, and hopefully they're not going to get injured. If they don't get injured, the possibilities are endless. Omarion Hampton, pass-catching back, bruiser, he can go in between the tackles. The dude's pretty much got everything. He profiles to me like a Temu version of Adrian Peterson. He can be, is what I'm saying. Let's just hope he doesn't get injured again. And Mitchell and Vidal, they're just design. They're going to be designer run plays. I understand that Mike McDaniel likes the speedy, fast little guys, and I love Mitchell. I had Mitchell. I would pick him up at the end of drafts, hoping that he was going to pop and turn into something, but he has injury history too. Vidal, he held it down. Every other game, he was good last year. But he's not Omarion Hampton. Omarion Hampton is obviously the talent. So I expect him to ball out. I expect him to give you running back one numbers, 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns catching, and maybe 300 yards pass catching. So if you have him, you're going to be okay. I'm telling you. And speaking of Mike McDaniel, Achane. He is my next guy. Achane, he's talented. He's a little guy. He plays big, though. And the guy just, he's pretty durable. I know he's had some injuries that have kept him off the field 1 or 2 games every year, but nothing like crazy that he can't come back from. Miami's going to lean on him. He is going to be the workhorse because they have changed coach. They have personnel changes. The scheme changes are going to be heavy. They're going to use him. Why? Because Malik Willis is their quarterback. He looked great in Green Bay in the starts that he had, and they're really optimistic about him starting. But with any new offense, any new personnel, you really got to try everything out. And then when things are not quite gelling right, you lean on what you got. You know De'Von Achane knows how to run. You know that he's going to catch passes. Malik Willis knows that. He might do some dump offs. We might see some designed, options. We might see a lot of QB spies on Malik Willis, which open up a lot of lanes for De'Von Achane because they don't know if it's going to go to Achane or it's going to stay with Willis. I wouldn't be surprised if they do a lot of options. It's a lot different. The OC that is coming from I think the last time he had really good success is the rookie year of Stroud, CJ Stroud and the Texans. Now that dude's a pocket passer, but why not mix in some options or something? I really feel like they're going to use De'Von Achane because you don't have anything but Ollie Gordon and Jalen Wright. Jalen Wright is the second, and he's kind of a big dude. He's really talented. So is Ollie Gordon, for that matter, and they were using Ollie Gordon last year. So there's something there, but there's not anything that's going to contest De'Von Achane. Maybe some goal line work might be taken away, but De'Von Achane has proven that he can handle goal line work. He's undisputed in this. If you're grabbing him, you're grabbing him for volume. You're grabbing him because he's going to get plus 22 touches a game. The guy's going to produce for you. You're going to get, the floor is going to be 12, 15, and your ceiling is going to be like 25 points a game. So I think that everything's going to be fine. If you grab De'Von Achane, you're going to be okay. But he's number 5 on my list just because if he's still there at the end of the first and I got pick 12 or something, I'm picking De'Von Achane up over some of these other guys. Speaking of, next guy, Saquaon Barkley. Now, I know. He had a down year last year. And that's to be expected when you have almost 400 touches. I think, or 400 touches the year prior. The dude was hurdling over people. Guy was used crazily. Kellen Moore takes off after that year. Goes to New Orleans. What do? They sign a new OC. Not as good. Doesn't know how to use Saquon Barkley. Doesn't know how to use the offense. Jalen Hurts. A.J. Brown. He left. Why? Doesn't like the offensive scheme. Didn't have as much success. That's different now. Because who they got now, they're praising. Barkley is excited. Says that the OC is a genius. Smartest man in the building. I think that he's going to get a lot more usage. He's going to get more targets with A.J. Brown gone because they only have Smith now. Devontae Smith is their number 1. Their number 2, maybe Lemon's got something, but they're not sure. Why not lean on what you know you have? Saquon Barkley, All-Pro, won the rushing title. The dude, knows how to play. There's just no question about it. They're going to lean on him. He's a little bit more rested up. He doesn't have as much tread as last year. I know there was an injury history in the past, but it's Saquon Barkley. I mean, it's absurd to think that he's not going to be balling out. A lot of people are lower on him, and I get it. I totally get it. The guy knows how to ball, though, and they're going to lean on him. They're going to probably execute a lot less tush pushes. I think with the departure of Kelsey, they're not as good as they used to be. So I think at the goal line, it's going to be a little bit more Saquon than we know. I think it's going to be more than you think. That's just my opinion. Saquon Barkley is my number 6, and I think you're going to be good if you pick him up. For my number 7 guy, it's CMC. Look, I don't need to say much about CMC. Christian McCaffery is, uber talented. You know who he is. He's won rushing titles. The guy gets 20-something touches a game. He is their whole offense, especially when everybody else is injured. There's a lot of tread on the tires, and that's why he's number 7 for me. I think there's going to be a drop-off. It might not be a cliff like everybody thinks. It's going to be a drop-off. He's still going to be good. He's still going to be solid for you. He can still be your number 1 running back. If you were to, I don't know, maybe everybody's down on him this year and you're able to slide him in your second round, that would be insane, but that would be great. Most likely he's still going in the first round. I personally, if everybody happens to be lower on him, it would make sense to take him in the top of the second round if you're in a 10-team leaguer. If your league is 12 or 14 teams, he's going in the first for sure. Anyways, I would still choose the other guys ahead of CMC, but if everybody else is taken and he's still there, he's my number 7 running back. I don't need to say much. It's CMC. Next guy, Ashton Jeanty. He is primed for a breakout. I think he's a top 10 running back. I think he's going to get all of the touches. That's all they've talked about. Clint Kubiak's coming from a Super Bowl winning team. He is going to literally design everything around Ashton Jeanty. Why? Because they only got one other pass catcher. And Genty's not a pass catcher, but he is. You know what I'm saying? Genty's got all the skills. If you're throwing it to Brock Bowers, if you're trying to throw it out to Trey Tucker, and maybe Jack Besh emerges as something. I don't know. He looks like a promising dude. I don't know. Just like for the arguments I made for Miami, Ashton Jeanty could be primed for a huge breakout. The dude was already like breaking out last year with the crappiest offensive line, crappiest scheme that you can think of. He was still shining through. He's got a floor, obviously. Ashton Jeanty, he is going to eat, my man. They are building around him. They upgraded the offensive line. He's going to have more opportunities with Cousins or Mendoza under center because both of them, honestly, even Mendoza coming out, they're a little bit more calm. Check down Charlies. They're going to check down. He's going to get the ball. That's simple as that. I don't know how else to put it. They're going to stack boxes because defense is going to be like, hey, prove it. Prove you can throw on us. If you can throw on us, we'll respect it. We'll back up. Our DBs will come back. We'll add another safety back there. But right now, it's either strong safety or 3 linebackers, and we're going to stack. Bring it on, Jeanty. Their offensive line going to open up. He had, I think, one of the best after contact yards after contact out of the whole league last year. The dude was making things happen because he was getting hit in the backfield all the time. He can make it happen this year. He's going to be a little bit better in a sophomore year. Pick up Ashton Jeanty as your number 8. Don't get him in the bottom of the 3rd or wherever he's going. Pick him up in the 2nd round. Pick him up in your 1st round. He's going to be worth it. I wouldn't lie to you. For my next one, this might be controversial, but I'm going with it. What is life without bold takes? Pretty boring. Bold take, Bhayshul Tuten. He's my number 9. And I will give you the reasons why. First two names, Liam Cohen. Liam Cohen knows ball. The guy knows how to create a run game. He knows how to turn a quarterback that is struggling into a good quarterback. He knows how to say, hey, I like this little running back, i.e. Bucky Irving, and he's going to be my focal point, and we're going to run everything down your throat. Bhayshul Tuten, he didn't like prospect out to be some awesome number 1 running back, but the guy has freakish grades. His grades out of the combine were off the charts. The dude started getting looks after he started grading out on the combine. Everybody was like, oh my God, who is this guy? They threw him out there last year, gave him a ton of touches in the red zone. The guy, I think he had like 27 touches in the red zone or something like that. The guy's freakishly good. So much so that they didn't bring back Travis Etienne. They let him go. He's off of the Saints now. They're like, hey, I think we're good. Sure, we'll bring in Chris Rodriguez. He knows my system. Chris Rodriguez ain't Bhayshul Tuten. Bhayshul Tuten is kind of, I don't want to call him a freak, but the dude is athletically gifted. And he's going to show it. He's going to show it this year. He's going to end up with 1,000 yards. He is going to catch some passes. The dude is going to score some touchdowns. Dare I say it, at least 9. He's going to have at least 9 on the year. You guys don't think so? That's fine. Don't draft him. Me, if he's there in the 3rd round, I'm drafting him. If he's, I'm going to pick up a couple good players. He's going to be my number 2 running back. But let's just say in a couple of leagues I go Jamar Chase or something, and then I go Justin Jefferson. Dude, in the 3rd round, if Bhayshul Tuten is there, I'm going to grab him. He's going to be my RB1 because I know he's going to eat. That's just clean and clear what it is. For my next running back, my number 10, and this is a list of 10, Quinshon Judkins. Yeah, he dislocated his leg. I understand. I understand that he's going to have a slow start. I understand. He is on the Browns. I understand. I get it. But just like Derrick Henry, when Todd Monken picked up Derrick Henry, he looked at him and he was like, you're mine. You're my dude. We're going to shove the running game up our opponents' butts. That's just what it is. They're going to use Quinshon Judkins in those ways. It's going to be just like Derrick Henry. But Quinshon Judkins is still young. He's going to ball, dude. He doesn't catch patches, I understand. He isn't particularly like elusive in the way that you would think some of these faster guys on the list were. He's not a Christian McCaffery. But the guy can run. He can run through a brick wall. And he will. He will, especially in this scheme. They're going to open up some different lanes with Todd Monken's. The guy's going to use like 13 personnel. I'm pretty sure they picked up another couple blocking only tight ends. The Browns are going to look slightly different. They're going to look like a Ravens team instead of a Browns team. Okay? We're talking Nick Chubb. This is kind of where he profiles out. I'm sure he's been working out. I'm sure he's been rehabbing it well. It's going to be a slow start, but I can tell you by midseason, the guy is going to be eating. He's going to eat and eat and eat and eat. They're going to just feed him the ball because they need to. Casey Concepcion, we don't know if he's going to work out yet. The guy's super talented. The guy was all over Instagram when he was like 14, I think. I can't remember. But he was like a freshman, and everybody was like, oh my God, who's this kid? Super talented, I'm sure. They have no pass game to talk about it. They have Harold Fannin. I like Harold Fannin. They need to run the ball. All these guys are dependent on everybody learning to prove themselves in the systems. Deshaun Watson, question mark. We have no idea. Shedeur Sanders, question mark. We've seen him do some good playing. If it's either quarterback, they profile out the same, basically. Shedeur Sanders could be a Deshaun Watson from, vintage Deshaun Watson. And Deshaun Watson can be Deshaun Watson from back in the day. We just don't know. Either way, they're going to lean heavy on Judkins. And there's nothing behind him. There's nobody that's going to question his job. We got a pass catcher behind him. He is going to ball out. And that's just what it is. Well, that's it, guys. That's my 10 running backs that are going to eat this year. If you have one of these guys or two of these guys even, you're looking good on your team. All right. These are hero RBs. These are guys that are going to make your team already stable within the first couple of picks. Then you can kind of experiment with your wide receivers after you get these. Leave a like. Make a comment. If I miss somebody, I'll get it. I totally understand. You might be passionate on somebody who's not on this list. This is just guys that I believe that are going to ball out this year, and you're not going to go wrong with them. That's what I'm betting. So, subscribe, leave a like, all the stuff. You know what it is. So, until next time.